What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1.
and we're back at it again, answering your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
Did we do that last time? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay.
I remember doing the wow.
Well, this is a question and answer video where you guys, our subscribers, ask the questions. We answer them for you guys, and we're going to answer today a special question from...
This guy's name is... Oh no. Alright, Captain Obvious. Your question is... What would the Dark Eldar do to a group of 20 captured college girls? Please explain in great detail with as many example pictures as possible.
We can't do that because we would get flagged by YouTube, because we are not allowed to put any violent, disgusting, gory things on YouTube, because that shit is gross.
Right. I mean... So I think I know what you're trying to get with this, and it's probably not what you think, because the Dark Eldar are not Slaanesh. Yeah.
So what you would expect, or I think what most people would expect when they ask this type of question, is we would show you pictures of like sexy slaves, like boobs, tits, and all that stuff. But yeah, like you said, Dark Eldars do not worship Slaanesh at all.
They hate Slaanesh.
So their pleasure comes from agony from other pain and agony from other people, which means flaying. Flaying is the process of skinning someone alive. That's fucking gross, dude.
Yeah. They do it in Game of Thrones, so if you like flaying, check that out.
Yeah, there's a video of them flaying an old lady, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But he's dead now anyway, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Spoiler alert. I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, watch Hostel. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't play Hostel here, so.
And then just to give you a broader sense, Dark Eldar, what they do to their prisoners is, of course, they punish them. But there are some that are just like regular slaves, so they're menial slaves. They bring like...
they got them like chained up. They bring grapes.
And shit like that. But even those, they're constantly whipped. They're constantly beaten. And if you've seen any like of those old pictures of like people that were slaves that were whipped, like their backs are all like gross and stuff. So it wouldn't be pleasurable for your eyes at all, unless you're into that kind of stuff. And if you are, I'm not gonna judge you, but that's fucked up. So I did judge you. So let's continue with more questions. While the Sound Alchemist gets attacked by Nurgle.
God Emperor, help! There, I am cleansed.
Yeah, but now you're infected by Nurgle.
I am. So just watch me devolve into a Nurgling in this video.
Next question comes from Virtual Holocaust.
Ooh.
This is a long one. Why'd I choose it? What if the Emperor is real and has helped create GW, and the reason there are no books made from the perspective of Xenos? Because that might make us have empathy to them and make it easier for us to be heretics. Or maybe the Imperium already exists, but we haven't gotten to the state of our type of planet to take over what we are being slowly conditioned for the Imperial truth.
I hear you.
That could be a possibility, but I don't believe so, because if the Warhammer 40K is real, the Emperor walks among us somewhere. Who do you think the Emperor is?
Like nowadays?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders?
That's the first thing that came to mind. Sanders.
Or... yeah, I don't know. Some old guy in the corner of Chicago playing a flute.
Selling hot dogs as well?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if you do empathize with somebody, you're more likely to help them. So it would make sense why, if this was true what you were saying, why there's not many Xenos point of view into things. But it's cool. It's cool to see what other people do, what other races do, because it broadens your horizons.
There you go.
It's like in Adventure Time, they were like, empathy, put yourself in the place of me. Because it's all about how you want to be treated. Treat others the way you want to be treated. The more you know.
Next question.
This one's by Sam Durfee. Would Commander Farsight possibly overthrow the Ethereal caste and lead the Tau and ally with the Imperium? With his life-drained weapon, Farsight could possibly live as long as the Emperor and potentially become a god to the Tau, like the God Emperor is to mankind. It's just Emperor, he's not a god. Also, could a Gene Stealer... Well, that's another question. So the first question. Could Farsight basically overthrow the Ethereal caste and become a god leader and ally with the Imperium?
So you can't ally with the Imperium because the Imperium is extremely xenophobic. Excuse me. Can he kill all the Ethereals? No. Mind control is a hell of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be really, really hard for him to, even after the Ethereals are dead, to keep the Tau from going or reverting back to that.
Right.
Because in reality, I guess they're Tau, so they're not human, but sentient beings usually tend to follow. They enjoy following because it gives you like good vibes or whatever.
It gives you purpose. It gives you a thing to do.
And I think that's what the Tau would end up doing. They would want to continue to follow the Ethereals, and they would see the person that killed the Ethereals as evil.
Mm-hmm. Unless Farsight somehow has a plan, saves them from something, then they'll follow him. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, and then at the same time, I don't think GW is going to do anything with the Tau storyline for a while. I don't see that happening. Yeah,
they're focusing way too much on Cadia and
the Imperium. Yeah.
Now he does have another question. Could a Gene Stealer Primus or Magnus become the leader of a spacefaring Gene Stealer militant power? No, because Gene Stealers are still
susceptible to their hive.
Right. So they are following the hive mind. They do have a form of Shadow of the Warp. So a strong Psyker couldn't really lead them anywhere.
Yep, they already have a boss.
Mm-hmm.
DOW234. Are the Primarchs a particular emotion of the Emperor? I.e. Horus equals pride and Gilliman, aka Grandfather Smurf, equals honor. Also, is DOW all in one? And 234 like a clone. Well, okay, so the Primarch thing, they fit a certain perspective of war.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you watch our 40 Facts videos on all the Primarchs, the very first one, it always explains what they specialized in. So the Alpha Legion was the secretive, co-op CIA type of shit. The Night Lords were the ones that
shock tactics.
Yeah, to not only conquer planets but also to keep them in check.
Mm-hmm.
Gilliman, of course, is about achieving goals and all that kind of stuff. So their perspectives of war, not so much emotions of the Emperor. Next question.
Monocle Squid. I always liked the idea of Tau capturing and genetically modifying Blood Axe orcs to be used as weapons, since they are the most organized and civilized of orcs. What are your thoughts on this?
Say that again?
So basically, orcs genetically modifying the Blood Axes into, making them follow Tau.
Yeah, they could do that. Actually, in one of the 50K fan fictions, that's how the Tau conquered the orcs. The orcs, they altered a set clan, and then that set clan was susceptible to mind control. They sent it out to fight other orcs, and of course, when you kill an orc, spores gets released, and the reproduction of those, it was just a reproduction mass, and it just started growing and growing to the point where that new orc clan became the dominant orc clan, and they killed all the other orcs. So yeah, it could happen. It would be really cool, but then that would mean the death of a race, and I don't think GW wants to kill off the second best race. No, the first best race of Warhammer 40K.
I was gonna say, if you're saying second, who's the first?
Yeah, there is no first.
Yeah, orcs and more orcs.
Good question, though. DOW234 asks, what would PETA be in the 40K universe? Also, these guys are unethical, letting animals that they free starve to death. Where is the ethics? By the way, sorry for making the question as it looks back. As looking back, my question should be phrased as if the Space Wolves helped Horus by taking out the Thousand Suns. I don't know what you mean by that. You're probably talking about a different comment. But what would PETA be in 40K?
Probably not a very large organization.
Probably, be non-existent.
Yeah, there's so much emphasis on war, and spreading your teachings, spreading the God Emperor's word, the creed, the Imperial Creed, that there's really no room for anything like PETA or anything like surrounding that, because it's all based on your planetary governor, and most of the time these governors just want to appease their higher ups, so
they don't care about cruelty to animals.
No, unfortunately.
But I guess that is a good segue to talk about the whole PETA thing. Yeah. I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just bullshit that people were being gullible. And then I went to the PETA UK website, and yeah, there's like a little like statement saying that they're talking to GW to try to
remove fur and whatnot. Because they're saying if fur is okay in a game, this must be okay to wear and all this stuff.
Yeah. And like my opinion is like that's pretty crazy to think that PETA would even bother to contact a game producer to do that. I don't know. Cuz I don't care about the whole PETA thing, like good or bad, doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do what I do. But for an organization that big to focusing on GW, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like there's bigger fish to fry than GW.
Yep.
We just got to be careful now, because we may be playing, our tabletop game, and out of nowhere somebody may drop like pig's blood on our minis. So watch out, guys.
Yep. It's hard to get pig's blood off of minis.
Trust them.
Yes. Next question.
Pierre Broud. We know that the Imperium still has the gene seed of the 9 Loyalist legions, and apparently the gene seed of the traitor legions as well, which is kept in stasis. Considering this, is it possible to, in the lore point of view, that the Imperium can still have the gene seed of the 2nd and the 11th legions, and that some chapters with unknown origins can be created from it?
Yes. Hopefully, I really, really hope that GW does reveal more information about those hidden legions, or those mystery legions. But yeah, it's a possibility.
Of course.
And then anything that we say right now would be speculations. Yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. Sarah3346. If the Eldar are so rare, why don't they clone themselves? Follow-up question. Let's answer that question first. So they probably can't clone themselves because cloning itself still deals with reproductive cycle, and the reproductive cycle of the Eldar are messed up. Yeah, so that's your reason why. And then follow-up question, why the ridiculous Eldar helmets? Most of them look practical for combat, so why bother? Impractical.
Impractical.
Sorry, impractical.
Because it looks cool. But I mean, I do agree. A lot of the Eldar helmets are very like decorated. Like the striking scorpions, for example, they've got like a cone, kind of like a cone head thing. They got like the little hair. In my opinion, why? Like, I mean, I understand the Howling Banshees because they need those helmets so they could project their voices and like do what they got to do. But for a lot of these helmets, it doesn't make sense. I think it's just because GW wants to separate their helmets from like all the other races' helmets.
Yeah. But if you want to put it in a lower perspective, you got to remember that the Eldar came from a golden age. They were the top dogs. Nobody can stand against them. So when that happens, I think military units became more focused on appearance rather than their
actual role.
Yeah, which is what happens to most like big nations. If you look at like the ancient Greeks and Romans, Spartans had little like fan like this and fan like this, when in reality that didn't do anything good for you. So yeah, I think they just focused on that appearance rather than actual usefulness.
That's right.
Next question. Or was that you? Do I get another question?
Go for it.
Colin Torner Todd, do you think that the Tau drones and and such will ever turn on their masters like the Men of Iron did. I mean, from what I understand, they are about the same level as AI.
Yeah, basically, they do have an AI, because you can just like let them go and they will do what they're programmed to do. They do have an intelligence because they can separate, what's a high priority threat, what's not, what should I be doing.
Right.
The only way that can bypass this is if a commander has a drone controller, which then they're physically controlling the drones. But yeah, they do have a sense of AI, and I never really thought about that, if the Tau machines, robots, whatever you want to call them, would retaliate on their masters.
Yeah, that's something that just recently came into my mind too, because there was other people commenting this, whether Tau technology can be corrupted by the same thing that corrupted the AIs. Because Chaos can't corrupt the Tau because the Tau don't really have that presence, that psychic presence. But with AI or with any computer, you don't need psychic presence in order to be corrupted. So I think that's just a hole in the canon. So we'll move on.
Storm Enormorum. I think that's how it's called. What units in the 40K game do not resemble their lore and should receive a nerf?
Which chapter or
no,
just
what units, like what models don't represent the lore around them?
Oh, okay. I think orcs. Orcs are way too squishy for what they are.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be equivalent to like a space marine, and they are not.
Yeah, not with the strength 3.
No.
What else?
I feel like demons aren't as much as a threat. Like every demon army I've seen, they're very squishy, and I feel like it should be harder to kill a demon than what they make it seem on the tabletop.
Yeah. I think Necrons are a little too OP. I think they should be more squishy. That whole reanimation protocol should be written in a way where like you get reanimated, but your unit gets reanimated like at the edge of the board, not right there. Right.
Basically, like they get like sent back to their tomb world and they're coming back.
Yeah, because I agree that there should be reanimation protocol because it fits the lore, but I don't believe that if I'm a space marine and I go at you with my power fist and I like crush your skull, you're a Necron. Your skull is just like shattered. All of a sudden, reanimation protocol brings that back to like regular form and stands you up. No, I think what happens is that Necron's presence gets sent into the tomb world, gets put into another Necron, and the Necron comes out. So yeah.
Yeah, the only counter to your little explanation is that they do have a necrodermis body, meaning it's a bunch of little tiny Necrons, and they are constantly fixing them as they're getting, damaged. So that's the only way why they'd be able to come up, because as you squish their head, as soon as you remove that fist, it's already getting repaired.
Oh, yeah. Well, baby. Well, fuck Necrons.
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's all I can think of.
Good question.
Yep. Fink Nalton, do you think that the Starship Troopers and Warhammer 40K share the same universe? I am more talking about the book, but the movie can be taken into consideration. I've never seen Starship Troopers.
I've only seen the first one, and it's basically, think of Imperial Guard versus Tyranids. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And what was the question?
Are they in the same universe?
Probably not. No, because it would mean, like, because they are human, so it would be like Terra is not Earth, basically, so it's not the same universe. Dragon Punch 903, what is your favorite model that you have built and why?
My favorite model that I've ever built is the Mega Armored War Boss, because it was a conversion from a gift the Sound Alchemist gave me of, what's his name?
Aruk, Iron Tooth, Iron Jaw, something like that.
It's a fantasy figure, and then I converted him to have the Power Claw, and he's like carrying a Gatling gun or something like that. It's basically a Killer Khan's big shooter. What about you?
The only thing I can think of is
Farsight?
yeah, Farsight. But the one that I like making It's just regular crisis suits because you could do so much conversion, and I think it's cool to have them look unique. So my favorite would be a Tau commander that I used with an XV9 Forge World suit to make him look a little bit more unique.
Beefy.
Now I don't have him anymore because I sold him back in 5th edition, which kind of hurts my soul, but he looked awesome.
And those were the questions for this week. Thank you for sending those questions our way. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Don't forget to put question in front of the question. And then if you guys have suggestions, do that as well.
That's right. Thank you guys for all these awesome questions, and we'll see you in the next one. As always, Sound Alchemist,
Gershwan.
and we are signing out.